Public Safety Liquor Committee meeting to order. It's Monday, February 13th. We are all here, and if we're all good with the summary,
I'm good.
Good.
Yep.
we can move right on to Steve with liquor.
Okay. It's kind of nice to come to you and say that our sales this year were better than last year's. We really haven't been able to do that too much the last few years. So yeah, net sales were up 5. I mean, liquor was strong, which is kind of the way it's been. Wine's been taking a beating now since the seltzers have kind of taken over, and beer sales were up. So
Is that the real, or is that the big reason, is those seltzers? Yeah. That's it.
yeah, people have kind of switched to them, and we would rather that it was wine. You know, it's a little bit better markup for us, but you know, well, at least it's something. And then, you know, seltzers, and then the ready-to-drinks, the ready-to-drink liquor cocktails, really starting to get big. You know, Carbless being the big one right now, and then, but every major one's coming out with a Mill Crown Royal. Captain Morgan came out with one now. It's like, yeah, it's never ending, which is good because new products are kind of our lifeblood.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, whenever we get our customer count up and our average sales are up, it's good. You know, credit cards, that doesn't ever seem to go down. Gross profit, 22.9. I would like it to be a little bit better than that, but, you know, we've been fairly aggressive on Busch Light suits, and we're still, you know, a couple bucks more than what our closest liquor store is selling them for, but we just can't go down and match that price. I mean,
Are we still selling quite a few though? I mean,
Yeah.
still doing pretty good on that?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, we still sell a lot of
Okay.
Busch Light. But I mean, there are customers that we don't see anymore, that we know they're going elsewhere, and that's their right. So, you know, we've got some ideas, we're gonna try and do some things different. I'm hoping to sit down with a radio station in town and kind of come up with a new strategy for something different for us to do and highlight some different areas, so hopefully that'll be good. Personnel, Brenda and Tara are our two newest, you know, union employees, are doing really well. Brenda's locking up already, and she's been wonderful. We're hoping by the end of next week, we have her ready to start opening up.
Are these full-time now?
They're permanent part-time, so they work, is it 66.6 or something like that percent of what a full-time works, something?
1,664 hours.
Yeah, yep. They have the same pay, but on a pro rata share of vacations, holidays,
Benefits,
and sick
yeah.
leave. So they have the same health insurance and the same pay, but it's the benefits where they get a proportionate share. And, you know, we still have a full-time one that's open on the books that Casey left vacant. One of these very well could maybe be one of those people. You know, we'll see. As of right now, it's going pretty good. Tara has had kind of a tough go of it. She has a daughter who's, you know, been through a lot, and has to make trips down to Mayo. And then Terry got COVID, was out for a week. So it's been a little bit longer for her to catch up with stuff, but I mean, she's so willing and eager to learn, so I have no doubt we'll be fine. But yeah, we had COVID and other sicknesses go through the store, so, and then people with scheduled vacations who were actually gone, so staffing was an issue there for a couple weeks, it really was. But everyone's back, and hopefully we're gonna be okay. And then Lenny has grandkids to play hockey, and, you know, has wanted every weekend off for the last 6 weeks, and which, you know, he deserves it. He's been there an awful lot, so, but, yeah, overall it's going really well. Kathy was in today, and her grandson sounds like he's gonna have to go down to Mayo and have another surgery, and he's not very old, and he's had cancer, and and she's a wreck. So I really don't know. I'll visit with her tomorrow, but I'm assuming even if she is at the store, she won't be at the store. She has a problem with that anyway, so we may not have a lot of service from her until after this surgery is done. We'll see what happens. But, inventory, we did as much as we could before the end of the year, but now we're going through and trying to hit every major liquor one. And I'm assuming that the auditors will be there in March to come and spot check our inventory, so we want to make sure things are accurate and up to snuff. So it's been pretty good. I mean, beer was the worst one, but now that's going better too, which leads me right into the next one. I mean, we do our own ordering for Northwest Beverage now. We use this Bees program. We can get in, we can log right in, so we know if they have inventory. It shows what the deals are. So it's one more thing to do on Mondays and Thursdays, but it's been going really well, and Bob over there at Northwest Beverage has been just wonderful to work with. He's been very, very helpful. So far, so good with that. MMDA chain buys, the Minnesota Municipal Beverage Association chain buys, Molson Coors has been the kind of leader in the pack there. We've got some busy packages coming out that we're gonna get that the rest of the state might not get. The Keystone Light 30s, we got them first, but now they're there for everybody. But it's a big enough deal, so some stores aren't able to get them, and we're running them kind of aggressive because some of our smaller store competitors can't do that. So it's something that we can poke them with a stick. So I got some stuff from the MMDA. I was looking through some of it, and some of it was really kind of junky. I didn't really think that it would be helpful us, so I asked them for some more stuff. But I've been visiting with Shelley up in Warroad, and so their new store's gonna be 7,800 square feet, and approximately, she's thinking 3.8, it could be a little bit over that million. And with 40 cooler doors, she goes, everything is in place right now. The cooler doors and the bottom shelf is in place. They're waiting for the set to take care of, and same with the liquor and wine shelves. They're placed with the bottom shelf in place, and then they'll start setting from the bottom up for, so they get their shelves set in the right spot. They really don't have an idea yet when it's gonna happen, and there's still some fixtures that they're waiting for and some shelving. They were hoping to be open by the end of January. Well, that didn't happen, so now she's not even quite sure if they'll be ready to go by end of February. But when that's done, then they'll knock the old head in the store and turn that into a parking lot, and they'll have a huge parking lot. But it's been nice visiting with her. I hope to get up there and take a look at it. Some of the things that they've done. I know if I'm still here, we won't do. I mean, they put in black shelving. I imagine it looks wonderful. But it's like having a black car.
Yeah.
When they're clean, they're gorgeous, but
Yeah. you'd be
boy,
dusty
every
forever.
little
That's
speck of
gonna,
dust
yeah.
is gonna show, and unless you have a staff that's willing to keep those shelves dusted. Yeah, I don't know.
I don't think black's the right color. to do
No, yeah, sorry, I would have to put my foot down on that one, but I hope to bring more new store stuff to you. The one from MMDA was kind of interesting, and he said that he will get us some more stuff. We had legislative day here a couple weeks back. I wasn't able to attend, we were shorthanded, but talked to one of my colleagues and it went well. We really don't think there's gonna be any legislative issues for us this year, which it should be. We kind of made an agreement with the on sales and the beer wholesalers and last year, so that we'd hope that there'd be a moratorium for 3 to 5 years before we have any more legislative curveballs thrown at us. And then we've all agreed that we will stick together and fight the wine and grocery attacks. So we realize that's our biggest threat. So, but we do have a new driver for the semi for the McKinnon Company, and
No.
yeah, he had a little trouble that day and backed into our block on our loading dock. So he didn't knock it out of there, but he cracked it, so I mean, they'll be getting another bill from, get our masonry bill over there again to fix it up again, but it's like, I just tell him, I said, you know, you two of you guys come, I said, have a spotter, but I said, here's what our liquor freight hauler does. He lines up the back side, his driver's side of his trailer to where that post is. He eases up there and bumps with his bumper, and then that's all the farther he goes, because our ramp comes out far enough to reach the truck. But, yeah, so we had issues with our ramp last Tuesday or Wednesday morning. We didn't realize it. I mean, our computer guys delivered on Monday and everything was fine. Our liquor freight hauler gets there on Wednesday morning. He was late. You know, he got pulled over by the state patrol and they ran him through the gamut, so he was like an hour late. So he was chomping at the bit to get going, and our lift didn't work. But I called the street department, and Mark came over right away to make sure that it wasn't a mechanical thing, and it wasn't, and Greg and Steve showed up a little bit later, and it was there was a 1.0 amp fuse that blew, and we've had it for a number of years and it's never happened. But in the meantime, our trucker got the new owner from Paint Glass, came over with his forklift and unloaded them so he could get back down the road. So pretty nice that you know, you can get along with. I mean, that was really nice of him, and I asked our trucker, I said, I want to do something to thank him for that. He goes, well, he really was doing a favor for me. I said, well, I don't care. It was a favor for us too. And it was nice that he came over. I mean, he had took him and set him in the doorway, and we kept up with him and got the stuff unloaded, so we got him out of there in a hurry. So it went pretty good. It's just nice to know that you can have cooperation like that. We're busy trying to reorganize and get our store clean, and we're still hoping to do a reset in that pre-mix section. And yeah, I mean, for the most part, things are going really good. Super Bowl sales were not like they were in the past. I don't know, it just didn't really seem like there was much talk of the Super Bowl beforehand. I don't know, I mean, our sales were okay, but not like they've been. Granted, there was a lot of other stuff going on, and other races were going on, and but tomorrow now is typically a really good day for us, Valentine's Day. We promote cordials and free bottle wrapping and gift cards, and we sell a lot of wine tomorrow.
There you go.
Yeah.
Good.
So it's a fun day, you know, and they're putting a little display up front with gift ideas, and so yeah, it'll be fun. And like I said, we get 10% off all wine, non-sale wines tomorrow. So yeah, it's a fun day. Yeah, try and take advantage of
It's
those.
Valentine's Day tomorrow.
Cool.
Well, I better pack in some box wines.
I had to make 5 Valentine's Day boxes, so I know it's Valentine's Day tomorrow.
See, that's why I didn't know it, because
Yeah.
last year was my last year, or
Yeah.
2 years ago was the last time.
So, they had to have Valentine's Day over.
It's been a while.
Yeah. And we did have a brief store meeting last Wednesday. We've been trying to get our picture done for the Thief River Falls Visitors Guides for 3 times now. They dropped the ball on us and didn't show up. But they were there that day, and they said, being they've done that to us, they're gonna give us a full-page ad at the cost of the half-page ad. And so I asked our beer guys to make us a thank you banner, and Northwest Beverage did it. And we're gonna try and focus on that a little bit more with our staff, to actually really making sure we thank our customers. but it was fun. I mean, they had fun. I mean, we had a stand up of the rock, you know, for the Terramana tequila and a couple more of that, and then, oh man, who's the Ultimate Fighter who's just getting back into fighting? I mean, Proper 12 was his Irish whiskey, and Conor McGregor.
Oh,
Yeah.
Conor McGregor.
We have a stand-up
yeah.
of him, and,
Oh, cool.
you know, a couple of our staff members were standing by him, you
Yeah.
know, and so it was fun, and that's what I wanted it to be, because I want the staff to portray that we are fun. I mean, that's kind of what we sell, is fun. And so I think now with this new staff, and we got some new blood mixed in with, yeah, I'm hopeful that, because it's nice to have some new staff. It kind of energizes some of the older ones a little bit because they're eager.
Mhm.
And so yeah, I'm hoping for a really fun year, a really good year. Does anybody have any questions of me that I didn't? I mean, if you think of something, send me an email, give me a call, whatever, I'll get back to you.
You said you're gonna have some more information on it?
I asked him, he said, well, I sent you, he said, I just thought that I wouldn't send it all to you at one time, just not to inundate them, and I go, well, I said, I really didn't like some of it. Some of it was store specific. You know, one was from Lakeville, but it was 100 pages long. No, thank you. I mean, Lakeville is, Brenda used to run the Lakeville stores, and she was really organized and really good. Some was from Brooklyn Center. I'm not too keen on how that operation is run, so, but I'm hoping to get some stuff from Bemidji, and then like I said, Wall is close, so, and he says he does have some more stuff, so I'll get it from him.
Are you adding a little bit more responsibility onto,
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, it's my plan. I mean, it's been, just when we think we're okay, then we get a phone call and we're missing 3 people, so, but.
Are you still trying to hire part-time?
No, we should be okay. We have all our permanent part-time positions filled. We still have our temporary people out there, you know, who just make a wage to help us out, but, you know, some of them are hockey, some of them are DigiKey employees who traveling this time of year, and so that's been a little bit iffy, and we took 2 of them from that pool, and Tara and Brenda too, so.
So does it make sense to add more to that? So like you said, you were 3 people short. Would it make sense to add into that temporary deal?
It does
Just
if you
to
can
have
find someone
backups?
who that's strictly what they want to do, but almost all our temporaries, all of our temporaries all have other jobs. DigiKey, some are from the schools.
But if you had more temporaries, would that fill the void? I mean, since a lot of them don't want to work every day or only one day a week or something, I mean, would it make sense to have more of those?
Yeah, well, we have
those?
quite a few right now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what it is, total number we have. We got 3 from DigiKey. We have 2 teachers. So like in the summertime, teachers are kind of a nice fit for us because summertime and holidays, they're generally off. It's just that right now, you know,
Yeah.
hockey parents, and I totally
Way
get that.
better.
You gotta be with your kids.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think when the dust settles, we'll be okay. I do. I mean, Brenda can lock up. Tara's really close to being ready to lock up. We're gonna get Brenda ready to open up. Cause I'm just not, Kathy won't be in the right frame of mind, and she's got a bad knee. So she's confined to the tills kind of right now, her office, so. But, I mean, I totally get it, you know, she has this issue with her grandson, that would be horrific. But she's gonna struggle. She came in to tell us today and she was a mess, so. She's gonna struggle keeping focus, so. And then we have 1 permanent part-time employee who's he's been struggling, so, you'll be able to figure out who it is. We only have one of them, so Lenny and I are gonna have to sit down with him again and say that he really needs to start focusing on when he's there. If that doesn't happen, we're gonna move him down in the schedule. Right now, it's Lenny and then it's him, he's kind of that next in charge, but we're gonna move him down, because he's been very disappointing lately. And,
That's why I wonder if you just keep hiring, maybe keep.
Yeah,
people-
it's,
I mean, I don't know.
but then you get to the point where, you know, they wanna have their cake and eat it too, they wanna be able to have their time off, but then they still want their hours.
That's the hardest part. It's-
Yeah. Yeah.
Because eventually we're gonna have to get back to that 10 o'clock closing.
You know,
Why?
I think so too, because I'm keep
Because we're
hearing
gonna
more and
have
more.
Why?
The more I'm out, the more
If we
people are
just start
starting to
at
talk
9
about
o'clock,
that.
that would be great, buddy.
I think
You look
my
at- you look at
recommendation
the-
would be we
you
go to
look at the
9
numbers.
and see how that works.
Yeah.
Average.
And then we're open 13 hours a day, 6
Or 9 to
days a
10.
week.
But where
And
do
then
we
let's
average
see,
that? How long ago was
see
that?
how we spread our
years.
hours out.
Last time
You
we
know,
did.
9 to 10 wasn't all that wild. You
Pretty
know?
soon.
No,
They'll say by nine.
I think
Losing money.
but yeah, I think we should.
I talked to Michael out there.
I think 9
He didn't
o'clock
upset.
needs to be for sure, yeah.
And
I think-
frustrated.
Yeah, and
9 o'clock's
I've
clear.
explained, told the
Liquor stores
staff.
actually
so
Yeah,
they said
that's
you-
the hardest part, you know, like
You
trying to
need
get.
to start planning for that.
Yeah.
You know?
I'd be all for 9 o'clock, bumping in. another
I do
hour.
9.
Up at 9?
I
Let's
do.
Yeah.
see how it goes.
I'll never go back to 10 again.
Let's see how it goes. Yeah. And I think, I've told them that it's coming, you know,
Yeah.
how soon we start it, you know. If we started in
Yeah.
May, if we started
9
in
o'clock.
Nine is
I
good.
June,
can, yeah, I mean 9
You know,
o'clock.
10 o'clock is.
May things start getting a little bit busier.
Customers.
But we can
My
have
biggest problem is
conversations
there's-
on that even at the next
If you're going
month's
to
meeting.
Oxdale
Yeah.
that late,
Yeah, I don't know how profitable
Yeah, I know.
it is, but
Well,
a lot of, I've noticed now in the last few weeks, a lot of people have been kind of griping about that.
Well, you've got tournaments and stuff going on in
Mhm.
town, and, yeah.
there's a,
I hear it.
I hear it
It's-
constantly.
Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah. But, no, I fully told them, I said, you need to expect that we're at least gonna go to 9 o'clock. So, which, you know, that puts us open 13 hours a day, that's more than a lot of the stores
Mhm.
around. A lot of them will stay open till 10, but, you know, Bemidji doesn't open up till 10. Park Rapids, some of those, they don't open up till 9 o'clock.
So how was your morning hour, your first hour?
That's always pretty good, you know, and then we've got things that we need to do in the morning. You know, that's when
It's weird.
we sweep and we clean our store and get things ready for the day. So if we're gonna be there doing that, we just want to be open.
So you're busier during the morning than you are later at night then?
Well, there's some people that are just getting done work.
Well, that's what
So
we,
that's-
and we're just talking about.
That's their night.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
so, and then there's those that need to be there right away in the morning, you
Yeah.
know, too. And, so, yeah, they know it's coming. And I said, you know, I think hopefully we'll give 9 o'clock a try and see how that goes, and then we're there 13 hours a day, and, yeah, they know it's
I
coming.
think the 9 is almost a must.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so too.
I agree. I agree. Yep, I agree.
Do you utilize social media at all?
I do not.
I think that's a huge piece, a social media presence, personally.
I do know that Bemidji, she works with their local radio station on social, I mean, we're on their social media on the
Right.
radio. But as for us specifically having somebody on social media, we do not.
Yeah, I think it's
And
something to
it's
think about.
pretty
It's kind of
It's-
you know, and I'm a little more old school, I don't like having social media where people can attack you either.
You can control some of that.
Yeah, you can,
Yeah.
But I do think, like, if you're running some kind of special,
Yeah.
I mean, it's,
that's gonna pull in a younger crowd and the kids
And that's
that-
something we can work with our radio stations on. We
Yeah.
do a little social media with the radio station on Grand Forks.
Okay.
Yep, we do that.
Well, it
with
seems
them.
like the younger kids like the flavored beers and the
Yeah,
flavor, like,
yeah. And it doesn't even have to be, I mean, a social media, I mean, I think every business should have some sort of social media presence, just because that's the new newspaper, it's the new radio, that's what everybody's looking at. And,
Mhm.
I mean, I can tell you just from my own experience, I've doubled sales since I've been, you know, on social media, so somebody that's.
Does it take a lot of your time?
Yes,
Yeah.
but it's worth every second of it.
Yeah.
We were, I think at Earl's, we were doing $800 in deli a day, and we're doing almost $2,000 now, just from our
That's
social
huge.
media platform.
That's huge.
And it's not just your sales, I mean, it can be just funny things, it can be, you know, a page to follow, it can be you know, and that's what people go for and they look for it,
It's
and
just huge, it's just that reminder, hey.
people
there's
say
a store
all the
over there.
time, oh, I have to go look on their page and see what they're doing today, or whatever. I mean, we hear it all day long.
Well, like for me, I drive by it every day, so
Yep.
when I go home, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the
And
thing
it makes
is,
people think
sit
about
at home
it.
at night and they get on that, and
Yeah.
they look, and they're like, oh my God, yeah, there's that store, or
Yep.
this. or
And your
that,
ad,
or-
your ad pops up, or I mean, it's a big
Yeah, we'll be with,
marketing portion.
Great Duck is coming. I don't know, you've probably heard that on the radio. I mean, their radio group is bringing, we're gonna do something out at the Legacy Center with Great Duck. And I'm hearing ads already with Chad Greenway, who's a spokesperson for him. I heard him on the radio over the weekend, and he was thanking Falls Liquor for promoting this deal that they're gonna have with the Legacy collaboration with
The Chad Greenman?
the Chad Greenway.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So, no, I believe in marketing.
Yeah,
It's like winking at someone in the dark, you know what they're doing, what they don't.
yeah,
That's
oh
the
yeah, for
simplest
sure,
way I can
yeah.
explain it, yeah.
Well, move on. What's this evaluation? I'm just
So-
confused that if we have Steve Olson here, and then we go right down to Rick Byer with the same thing.
Well, you guys had requested Rick Byers' evaluation, so that happened in January, but Mike Lawrenson brought it up at council, wanted department heads to start their reviews again, so Steve's the first one at council.
So
This isn't
what's-
gonna happen here, that's at council.
Yeah, but what's Rick's then?
You guys did it. It's a summary. We're required to do a summary
Okay.
of the review in January.
For his transition from intern to the
Correct.
captain. So, just to speak on these evaluations, I guess I'm to a point where we never used to do these, and quite frankly, the only reason we did that was to get rid of one individual in this city. To me, I think these are just kind of a joke, to be honest. I think we sit here in committees, we deal with all the heads of all the departments, and we're discussing things, and we're not really required to do these. I guess, to me, I would just assume not do them. That's my opinion.
So the last time we did them was in 21. They weren't done in 22, and now it's been requested to do it again in 23. So I have a whole schedule of the department heads to do. First meeting of the month with a summary at the second meeting.
I guess, to me, I don't know. I
They'll
think
start in March and be done in
Do we
September.
have a list of who all gets done? Do we have a list of everybody that's getting one then?
Yep, I have the list at tomorrow's meeting, admin.
Okay, I'll likely look at that tomorrow then.
So do I come to the second part of it or the first part of it? You said that.
Well, the first part, so March 7th would be, you know, the day we either close or you could request to keep it open. More than likely, it's a closed review. Then a summary is made and that's then just read at the next meeting.
Okay, okay.
To me, I just think that these things are really unfair. For us to do an evaluation on Steve, I get it, because we're here, we're dealing with him in a committee every month.
Mhm.
Now, when we get to, say, Wayne, I'm not on utilities, I don't have a clue about utilities because I've never been on that committee. So how is it right for me to sit here and evaluate Wayne?
Right.
To me, these things are dealt in these committees. I just don't see this full evaluation because it's, ultimately, this is no different than giving everybody your step pays. I mean, it's just kind of it don't mean a whole lot.
Well, the thing is on all the department heads, job descriptions, it's council, committee, and me as delegated. So it's, council is in that supervisory role as well, overall department heads, not just committee.
But we're not required to do these, so, I mean, I was in here the very first time we did them, and that was my first year on the council, and that was only to get rid of somebody. So to me, to continue on, I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow, I guess, too, but
Yep.
I'm just not for it anymore.
And I had questions and emails regarding Rick's evaluation on why it happened at committee and not council. It's like, so yeah, just the opposite of what you're saying. So it's whatever you guys
That was
desire.
brought on when he became the intern, though, that
Yep.
was approved by council.
Yep.
And the council approved if his evaluation of the job as intern.
Mhm.
That's a whole different.
Oh, and I explained that to him,
We need to
and
start like coming up with, whatever, something that we gotta do everything consistently, because this is, every time something comes up now, we're going into an argument, well, you guys did it this way, and it's like, well, no, you guys did it this way, and it's, we gotta come up with some policies on a few things and make sure that we're doing everything exactly the same always,
yep.
because this is getting everybody in trouble.
Yeah.
So, if anybody else has anything else for Steve.
I'm good.
Or if Steve's got anything for us.
Nope, I'll see you tomorrow for Valentine's Day, huh?
Thank you.
Geez, that reminds me, I gotta get something for my wife.
All right, thank you.
We didn't do
Thank
police
you.
and fire, huh? We
Thanks,
didn't
Steve.
do police and fire?
Did I
Last
get a
time I
request?
bothered
No, no,
Right.
No?
but I see Dana's here.
Yeah, right.
I'm sure
Just
they're
for
not
the
here.
I should use it on me.
Yeah.
I don't know what I can afford. Can't buy eggs, those are too damn expensive.
Somebody's out there.
I think I'm gonna,
Makes a wonderful girl.
I think Rick popped his head in, but.
I think I'm gonna get a chicken permit.
Mm.
That's what I'm gonna do.
Make your neighbors really happy.
I don't think they would mind.
You couldn't pay me enough to have chickens.
Oh, I know. I'll just get them from my coworker.
I'm getting pigeons.
I heard they're good eating.
Don't need a permit.
I was thinking of Cousin Eddie for vacation.
You remember
He
that?
doesn't eat those anymore. 'cause
Yeah.
they're high in
Maybe
cholesterol.
the cowboy way.
What's that?
Maybe the cowboy way.
Yeah.
He's sitting in Central Park, he's roasting that pigeon.
Okay.
Hey, Rick,
Oh, good evening.
Hello.
you wanna start off? We're ready.
Ready? All right. Rocking and rolling. Okay, I guess the first thing on my list is hiring. I think since the last time we talked, we were in the process of hiring. We did hire Derek Nyson as the next full-time firefighter. And thank you, Anthony, for being part of that process. And thanks to the committee for moving forward on that whole process. It's nice to be back to whole. He spent the last 2 weeks training, and then this week he starts his official rotation. So it feels wonderful.
Good.
It's good. We're back to getting some stuff done. We got guys going out, getting some hydrants cleared out and things like that, so really appreciate that. I completed the DigiKey fire extinguisher training. We did it over a course of like 2 half days, total of about 9 hours. We ran through 180 people through the extinguisher training, so they were pretty happy about that. So it went pretty good. Next on the list for fire extinguisher training is going to be the law enforcement center. They got some new people over there, and then even their existing people, they want to pretty much, I guess, kind of recertify them. So we're working on getting something lined up there. I talked to Joe over there. She's a little short-staffed now. She said she'd like to wait, get a few people hired and then get everybody in. So we'll probably end up doing that sometime in March is kind of what we were thinking, get that done. Northern Pride just recently held a 8-hour anhydrous ammonia refresher class. They invite us to go to that every year. It's free of charge. We always send at least one person. Last several years, it's been me. This year I sent Paul Gonzarowski over there. So he spent the day over there, got that done.
Is that for their freezers and stuff?
Yeah, for all the anhydrous, yeah. They got about, don't quote me exactly, but last time I thought I heard it was about 12,000 pounds of anhydrous ammonia, something like that. That's a lot. To kind of put it in perspective. So we're also going to be touring their facility in March. That's part of our March training for the department. We're invited over there, law enforcement and EMS. So they're going to kind of put on a big deal that particular night. Our February training for the whole department was CPR. So we got that done, which was nice. Last year we had to skip it because of COVID. Our instructor, one day before the training, he got sick with COVID. So we ended up putting that on hold. So it was nice to get back to that. We got our CPR done and, you know, kind of in light of the whole, what's his name with the NFL, and I think it was good timing to get that done too. So I myself got my strategic planning input with Denny and Chuck. That's all finished up. My SWOT analysis was done. I had an in-person meeting with them. They sent me the sheet back to review. I sent my corrections back. That part's done. They met with my staff last week. So we're moving forward on our end with that. Getting pretty much most of that wrapped up. Other than that, I did a plan review for the Department of Human Services office up on the 3rd floor of the new county courthouse. Didn't really find a whole lot of major issues there, just a few small ones. Sorry, pager's dying. But worked with Greg on that. We worked out the small issues that we found there. And then I had somebody call me, it was kind of random out of the blue, for a fire code issue over at the Comfort Stay, the old T59 over there. And I think this gal, she kind of made it sound like she works there. And I don't know if she's a little disgruntled or whatever, but she said that they had a bunch of space heaters that they were using in place of broken heating units. So the Minnesota State Fire Marshal's office is in charge of all motels, hotels. They come and inspect them every 3 years. So I did contact them, had some pretty good conversations with them, and just kind of made them aware of it. I said, if you want me to go in and do whatever, I'll do whatever, but it sounded like they were going to take care of it. So they're aware of the issue and they're working on it. We have our Rural Fire Association annual meeting coming up Monday, February 27th at 12 p.m.
And where are you having that again?
That will be at the fire hall.
Fire.
Yep. And we'll be serving a meal, noontime meal. It's been a while since because of COVID, since we've been able to have it back there, and so.
And they're invited.
Yes.
You guys are
Yep.
invited.
Yep.
All of you.
Yeah, there was an email that went out.
Oh, I didn't get that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Angie, you sent that out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Probably sent it out last week,
Yeah.
week
A couple
before,
weeks ago?
a couple weeks
That was a
ago.
while ago.
Yeah.
Put it down.
Yeah, you better check that out. If you're not getting them, you better figure out.
I don't remember that one. I didn't get all the other crap, but.
There should have been an attachment to it. A
Yeah.
PDF.
Yeah, I think there was
Yeah.
an attachment.
with the agenda. We're going to, at this point in time, I'm gonna send Devin to Rochester, Minnesota for a 40-hour ARF certification class, April 3rd through the 7th. I'd like to send Derek too. I don't know if I can make it work, being short. I mean, if I can get some guys that are willing to fill in and cover some extra shifts, I can make it work. It'd be nice
ARF is
to.
your airport. ARF is the airport.
Yes,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know I got it.
Yeah,
Just put it in my calendar.
You're on the list.
Okay. Well, maybe I just skipped over that one.
January 31st it was sent.
yeah, the ARF is the Aircraft Rescue and Firefighting
Yeah.
course. We're all certified for that, except for obviously the new people coming in. And that's a 40-hour course that you have to be certified for. Back in the day, there used to be a campus in Duluth where it was all set up, and you just send your guy to Duluth for the week. And once that instructor quit, he went off on his own, had his own airplane, mock-up of an airplane built, and then he just started traveling around and training guys that way. So now that's how they do it.
So you used to, back before the airport was an authority, you guys used to be out there for every flight, right?
No,
No?
Police
No.
were.
Police were.
Yeah,
we only went out there as needed. So all the maintenance personnel are also ARF certified. They go through the exact same course. And they have to have, anytime there's a passenger flight coming or going, somebody has to be on standby that's capable of running the fire truck out there. Which most of the time it's the maintenance guys do it, but sometimes they're, again, if people are on vacation and they're running short, then they call us and we go in and fill in. There was a period of time, it was many, many years ago, when Mark Josephson, he got hurt, broke his arm, or broke his shoulder, one of the two, and he was out for like 6 months. At that time, we were out there, we covered every single morning flight for about 6 months. So, I don't know, it's probably been a month or two since we've been out there and covered a flight, but they still call us randomly, and it's excellent training, and I think it's well worth having it.
Well, the more usage we get out of here, the more flights going in and out. It's
yeah.
Yeah.
better be trained in.
And for us, it's like $1,500 a person, but it's state reimbursable, so I get that money back. So really, the city's only on the hook for the motel for the week. You know, the motel and food. And so Joe out at the airport is sending one of his new guys, maintenance guys, down there too. And I know last time, I think he even paid for some of our motel because he, you know, obviously it's a benefit for him to have us trained too, so. Anyway.
It keeps growing out there and it keeps going, so.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's on the list. We had a house fire, as everybody may be well aware. 415 Horse Avenue here, right behind Johnson Funeral Home. The cause and determination isn't 100%. I haven't did the paperwork on it yet and put it out there, so I'm gonna do that tomorrow. But I think it's gonna end up being accidental, undetermined. We really just can't find a smoking gun in the fire. I called in Andrea for a consult. She took a look around in there and didn't see anything different than what I was looking at, and she was basically of the same opinion. And so I don't know. I mean, it goes back a little bit, and this isn't the fault of the landlord by any means, but it is a rental, and it's a dumpy one.
Yeah.
And it just, every time I see one, I just cringe, and it just reiterates what I've said for a long time is somewhere down the road, somehow, some way, somewhere, some why, I think there needs to be an inspection process of these rentals.
Who's the owner of that one now? It used to be Sherman Johnson, but.
I think, Well, it's Anton Berge now,
Okay.
but I want to say it was Dan Ricks before that.
Yeah, Sherman died, well, it used to be Sherman.
Okay. Because Anton bought a lot of Dan's properties, and, yeah. But when I was in there, I seen some issues. I had a good conversation with Anton, and I just said, here's the deal. I told him of the insurance thing. I said, we're gonna be taking 25% of your insurance money, we're gonna hold it. I said, look for that coming up. But I said, this building isn't going back to a rental until it gets fully inspected, you know, by me. So.
The whole building?
The whole building,
Okay.
because there's issues on
Yep.
all 3 floors. So, and he was more than okay with it. He's like, yep, he goes, you just tell me what I need to fix and I'll fix it. But I just, like I said, I pre-warned him. I said, it won't go back to a rental till, you know, you're not gonna get a certificate, basically, or the okay to rent this out until it passes inspection, so. So that's a step in the right direction. It's too bad it had to take a fire to make that happen, but it's I don't know, stuff makes me cringe.
Especially apartment complexes, they should have a stringent safety inspection on them,
Yeah.
say every year.
See, there was a smoke detector in there, but it didn't operate, didn't work, so. There was extra beds in there where there shouldn't have been, and there was people sleeping in the kitchen, which, you know what, he can't control that,
Well,
I
Yeah,
know,
that's not.
you know, but those are
Can't
things you
control
would.
that, but some of the safety issues with working smoke detectors is his responsibility.
Oh, 100%, yep, yep. And he's aware of it. I worked with him on another project that he took over from Dan that had pending fire code violation on it.
I know where you're coming from, I do,
Yeah,
trust me.
and Dan failed to tell Anton that there was a pending fire code violation letter on his property. And so, but Anton was more than, he's like, you tell me. I went over to his building several times. He's like, is this right? Is it, you know?
Yeah.
He wanted
So
to
he's
do the
good to
right
work
thing.
with.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So he's trying, you know, but he just inherited
Yeah.
some not so good stuff.
Mhm.
So,
Okay.
any rates, we'll work with them. We'll make it better. The street department was kind enough to borrow us the toolkit for a while, so we've been out hitting hydrants with that and cleaning that up, and they actually did some for us too, which was nice. So they've been helping us out, and we did a little help over the weekend at the Ralph Engelstead with the air monitoring for the motorcycle races, which was kind of exciting, kind of neat.
I'd like to thank you for that too.
Yeah, it was, well, the state of Minnesota gal, she was there. So it
That's
was,
what you were saying.
it was good that we were there and recording it. We had to record the readings every 15 minutes, basically to record what the reading was, where we took it from and stuff like that. So I took on those duties and did that, and then once we had a shift change at the fire hall and we had 2 guys in for the night, then I had one of those guys come over too. So then we had 2 guys throughout the building monitoring the air. And surprising, some of the readings were a little surprising. We never really went over the state threshold for their 15-minute time limit. We would temporarily, and then it would kind of come back down. So it was good, but you could smell it in there.
Yeah.
You know, and it was throughout there, a little carbon monoxide, but it wasn't terrible.
No.
But
I know throughout the night, I never got a headache.
yeah,
so-
no, and I didn't either, and I was kind of in the thick of it too a
Yeah.
little bit, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of neat. It was fun to see, and, you know, just glad we could help out.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
we got the monitors and we had the people, and so why not do it, you know? And the other thing, last on my list, oh, before I get to that, I called Mark Tooney on that OSHA deal. Talked to him about that, and it's kind of a tailor-made OSHA 10-hour certification for Northern Pride. They basically have 3 modules they're gonna do over 3 half-days of training. A module on ergonomics, a module on machine guarding, and one on lockout tagout. The other two don't really pertain to me, but I was interested in the lockout tagout. And it sounded like it was kind of like, he had to take it all or nothing.
To be
But he-
certified, sure.
Yeah, but he did say, he goes, if you want to do a lockout tagout certification, he goes, I'll find something for you. I'll keep you in mind. He goes, there'll be others. He goes, I can maybe even line you up with something online to do
Sure.
it. So I told him I'd be interested in that because the ergonomics and the machine guarding don't really pertain to,
And that wouldn't be for Greg either then?
no.
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 Okay.
But the lockout tagout, we do that,
But,
so.
but machine guarding, just say, I suppose you don't, well, what happens if somebody was caught in something and you were to go out there with like your equipment to get somebody out of something, then would it be beneficial? I mean, I know you don't need to know why it's guarded, but
Yeah, so well, then that's where the lockout tagout comes into play more than anything. And I think on the machine guarding, when I picture machine guarding, I picture, you know, the guards around the belts and
Yeah.
all that, and how to make sure that your machine is guarded properly, not necessarily on like how they come apart.
okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark just, we were having a meeting upstairs and he just said that he had 10 open spots for an OSHA certification that he was having at Northern Pride and opened it to anyone who thought they might want to have that certification. So I mentioned it to Rick.
Yeah. Which, like I said, the lockout tagout thing, hopefully if he can find me something on that, I'd most certainly do that, so. And then last but not least on my list is the optical preemption emitters. It's kind of come out of the blue. And it sounds like we really don't have a choice. The DOT is going to do this regardless. By July 1st, I think everything's gonna be installed and done supposedly. So I did reach out to Code 4 and got this quote. If you break it down, it's about $720 a vehicle. And what I was thinking was, find my sheet. So the city would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the rural would have 1, 2, 3. And how I'm kind of breaking that down is really the 2 grass rigs belong to the city technically, but a lot of times they get used more in the country, so I thought, hey, look, maybe we can split that bill with them? So basically, we'd take one and they'd take the other.
It's not a heck of a lot of grass fires in town.
No, exactly. So I thought,
But there's been some
Oh, yeah.
railroad tracks and everything else too,
Yeah.
you know, but, yeah.
so my thinking behind this is I want to present that to them, because they're gonna have to know about this too at the annual meeting. I'll throw it out to them. And they've always been more than willing to help. And so I'm guessing they're not gonna have any problem splitting that cost, you know. And if we do that, I look at it, the city should be on the hook if I end up going with this quote, about $3,600 gets me all my vehicles fixed up. And I know PD, you're probably gonna hear it from them tonight too. They're in the same boat. The sheriff's department's in the same boat.
Ambulance.
Ambulance is in the
Highway
same boat.
patrol.
Yeah. So, I don't, you know, obviously I didn't have it budgeted for, but we'll find it somewhere.
Well, this just came up, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
nobody had it budgeted, so.
Right.
Yeah.
Some things you just don't have a,
But in the grand scheme of things, you know, I mean, $3,600, that might not be that terrible, but this was just a quick quote that he threw me, so, hopefully we can stick with that. But I'm kinda waiting to hear back. I've been working with Marissa, and, she's kind of been keeping me in the loop on some of the quotes that they're getting back from different companies too, so.
is
Yeah.
that some, if they had quotes with the county and police department, fire department, if we work something out, would they do something? Maybe, I don't know.
I was kinda hoping that too, that's why I kinda wanted
And if
to see
they're, are
what we
they
do.
coming here to do them, or you gotta bring vehicles to them?
So in this quote, they would come here,
Yeah,
cause I can't be running fire trucks down there.
that wouldn't be feasible.
No. So you'll see in the quote, there's an extra, he's got drive time in there and travel mileage to come here. I mean, it's over $900 extra for them to come here, but there again, in the grand scheme of things, I can't run all my trucks down there and back for
Yeah.
$900.
No,
They're lucky to do one.
Yeah,
that'd be
you know.
miserable.
So
Right.
maybe if we can talk with county too and see if that's something, what their plan is.
All in one and see if we can get a better deal.
We could do all of them together and
Mhm.
maybe they can shoot us a better deal.
Yeah,
It's worth trying,
right.
doesn't hurt.
So I don't know, that's all I know for now.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, any questions?
Yeah, thanks for being out there.
Yeah, it was kinda neat. I'm glad to see something like that happen out there and, you know.
Am I missing something?
Do you want this read while he's here? Or,
Oh, yeah.
or do you wanna just read it on your own, or?
No, I did read it. I mean,
Yeah. If you want to, I guess.
You want me to read it?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the summary of the performance evaluation of Rick Beyer, interim chief at the time. At the January 9th, 2023 meeting of the Public Safety Committee, the meeting was closed by the Public Safety Committee to evaluate the job performance of Rick Beyer as interim fire chief to determine whether to move forward with recommendation on hiring him as fire chief. As required by Minnesota State Statute 13D.5, number 3, at the next open meeting, the public body shall summarize its conclusions regarding the evaluation. The Public Safety Committee conducted an evaluation of Mr. Beyer, and as a summary of its conclusions, the committee found that Mr. Beyer was performing in a professional manner. It was felt that he had done or had been doing his job well and had done an excellent job with the creation of the training program that trains the current Thief River Falls firefighters and also the area firefighter crews as well. He needs to continue to have good communication with council members and staff. He should work on the bond the crew has had as they need to work together. He wants to do his best for the city and will keep communication open.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, guys.
Thank you, Rick.
Say quick then. Hey, so maybe a way to pacify, because I got the same thing like with Wayne Johnson. I don't know anything. I know nothing, okay? Same thing with electric. Know very little. Could we make a suggestion that this be done in committee if they want to do these evaluations? It's more important to us than it is to, like if we're gonna do these two, it's more important to us than it is to the council, because they don't deal with them anyway. I mean, it's just a thought.
And
just-
that can definitely happen.
Okay. Worth having a discussion anyway.
It is, because like I said, when we're in a whole group like that, it's kind of like,
It loses its,
so that very first year that I was on is the first year we did, who.
Yeah.
And he was the very first one up, and I'm sitting here like, listening to everybody go around, I'm like, holy shit.
yeah, it sounds bad, doesn't it? Okay, good to go.
Do you want to start with Mr. Claus?
Let's
Yes.
get Dana so we can get out of here.
Do you want to sit here any longer?
It's number one on the list anyway.
We don't need permits for pigeons, and that's why I said, I'm getting pigeons. Screw the chickens.
So I talked to Travis Giffen, because he's kind of been working with our South Dakota guy. And, he was coming up here on the basis that he was gonna do it for free and then sell the birds, back in South Dakota. I think for him, we're kind of finding out that he would maybe more so like to be paid to come up. It might be more lucrative for him is what I'm getting from Travis. and that he would maybe come out more often if need be, but I think this last time around, he only had maybe 100 some birds. But then, you know, Mike came up with his idea too, that he could also help out with pigeons. And then I contacted Dana, and he, of course, was willing to help out, and I said, why don't you just come and talk with public safety and give them what you think would work and kind of your ideas, and so that's why he's here.
Is that still a hammer deal?
No. But 100 at a time just isn't cutting it. I mean, you know as well as I do that that's not gonna decrease.
We now have a monster in town, and I'm not talking about the issue with the birds. It's the reason the birds have exploded in numbers is because they have access to unlimited food. And they're not gonna be cleaning it up very easy.
So, we need to get
And
rid of
not
it.
willingly either.
No.
It's all over the ground right now. So that's your first issue. The second issue is they don't stay in one place very long. They adjust, and what causes them to adjust, I've watched many times. Why they moved into the downtown can only be because of the volume of traffic in and out of that facility. That's caused them to move during the day and move into the downtown. As the weekend comes and the conditions change where the farmers aren't hauling and they're not sending stuff to get ready for the trains, the noise level drops. They move back there. But I don't think it's a family issue thing. By no means is, they're not family oriented like others are, like raccoons or cats or whatever. They seem to flock together and form bands, and they fly, and if we had the answers to why they split when they split, just like the sparrows at sunset, you wonder how they can do that without flying into one another, but that's how they are. I spent quite a bit of time after talking with her, looking at YouTube, testimonies from different people, and they all said the same thing ultimately at the end. Once you've established a trapping mechanism or a method, you'll get some the first time. A couple weeks later, you might get some more, but they eventually will totally avoid the traps. They're smarter than the cats are. So having an easy solution, there isn't one. The simplest way that hands off for everybody is poison, but they die wherever they die. They can fall on top of somebody's vehicle, they can fall in a pool in the backyard. Last fall, I told you about them. I come out of the Eagle Club and I decided to walk home. Found 3 of them laying there. I cut 2 of them open. They were plumb full of food, but totally stone dead. It had been poisoned. The food was poisoned. So they did not die from cold. They did not die from starvation. They died from some type of a poison.
My mom had 2 over in her yard too at that same time.
Yeah.
I
So,
seen one right in the middle of the road.
Some people are doing it. I got a suspicion who it was. He still has a building there right across from the Eagles. I was thinking it was him. I'm not sure of that. But now that that building's gone, that little roost that they had, they've moved away from that now.
Well, they had to go somewhere.
Yeah, they have to go somewhere, yeah. And I'm sure the old Procter Gamble's building right over here is probably that too. But I looked at all of the different videos. As I said, there's not an easy solution. They put these barriers up so they can't land. They're basically very sharp spikes in all kinds of different directions. They sell them in 4-foot and almost 8-foot sections, and they're screwed into the roofing. That's for the business owner to do, I would think.
And that's part of the issue here. And I'm not putting this on you. I'm just saying that is part of the issue.
Yeah.
There's some people downtown that aren't taking care of the things that if they did, they wouldn't have so much of an issue.
Yeah.
There's a
But
couple
also
things.
understand, Steve, the pigeons don't eat the french fries and the
No.
part of the taco that's thrown out. That's for the ravens. All they want is the seed. They'll find the seeds, and the seed is the source, is the railroad, and it's the complex. They'll fly from there to here faster than you can hiccup, because when they want to go somewhere, they're there. Of course, being in town with the population we have, shooting is not an option at all. Trapping will only work for a shorter period of time. So you're narrowing things down. I'm sure he's using those small, longer traps that he used for, what's he using?
He's using fishing nets at night.
Oh, he's going up and trying to sneak up on them. Oh,
That's the
okay.
best way to do it, is at night with like nets and actually scoop it.
Okay.
And roll it.
There was
I
nobody,
actually
there was
bought-
nobody on the internet showing that.
I bought pigeons from him the last time he was here, because I use them for dog training.
Sure. Yep.
And that's what he uses.
Yeah. When the city used to have its old pile up north there on Horace, before the fences were up, there was guys that would come along and they put these enlarged, let's call them rabbit traps. And they had a variety of different doors on them, and they would catch them and use them for dogs. But the pigeons would go there to get the grip on the top of the piles, and that's where they would catch them. And back in them days, the elevator wasn't as big a complex as it is today, so wasn't that many. So I'm sorry to say this, there's not an easy solution. Anything you want to do is going to be time consuming and to some extent expensive to get rid of a problem that should have never happened, but it's here. Did you guys talk to any other towns and see what they did to try to alleviate the situation from the last time we talked?
Not that I'm aware of.
League of Cities didn't have any assistance available?
No.
Their options are about where you're at. That's their options.
You know, the offer of Thief River Trap Club for practice, that's probably out of the question, but then the other issue, as you turn the page, now we start a process, and somebody sees us hitting one over the head with a hammer, damaging or wounding them, transporting them, and then they're ultimately going to ask, what'd you do with them?
Yeah, it's the other crossroad.
So there you have that situation. I follow the guidelines of the DNR, okay? And for animals like skunks, raccoons, that I can visually guarantee that they got rabies, I've got a farm up north, I gotta dig a hole, I gotta pour diesel on them, I gotta burn them. After they're done burning, then I gotta cover them up to keep other animals from eating the virus that's in the meat. You'd have to do the same thing for the pigeons. You'd have to dig a hole, burn them, and cover them up. Not that they're carrying anything, but if, you know, to try to eliminate the evidence. I gotta be bold, I gotta tell you what circumstances are.
This is absolutely true, because I know, I think it was last winter, there was a deer that got hit by Annie Park. It was laying out in the snow, no, it was probably it was before the park was built, or the playground was put in. So here's this deer out there just flopping around. I mean, it can't, I mean, its legs are broke, the back is broke.
Yep.
So I called up Alex Thieber, because he just lives down the street. And I said, Alex, I said, can you come over and shoot this damn deer and do something with it? So he comes over in a squad car, comes over, he's gonna shoot it. Person in the trailer park, you can't shoot it, it's still alive. I'm just like, oh my God, the thing is like, so he ended up just cutting the throat, but.
Yeah.
Gets that so much better.
Well, there wasn't a bang anyway.
I mean, you guys know from, I'm sure there's many documented cases from anywhere from law enforcement to just city personnel. You do something wrong, somebody's watching. And today, it's not just somebody watching, it's somebody recording. There you go. So now you have a situation, and these guys couldn't understand why I like to go out at 4:30 in the morning and check my cat traps. Most of it's so that I'm doing things before the people see. Because when you got a mad, mean little sucker in a cage, he's gonna roll it over on you a couple times and you're not gonna be happy with it. That's where I just was. I got 2 more today over in the trailer court.
Which trailer court?
Countryside. got 4 out of the 6 that are,
Greendale is absolutely horrible again too.
What are they, all feral cats or?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
This deal there was, the lady was in a hospital, now she's in a home, but she wants to come home. They've moved in ever since. And now I got another neighbor that's helping feed them to keep them around there, so.
Greenwood is horrible again.
That's why I go out early. The less that know, the better off, especially with skunks too. The less they know, the better off it is.
Where- Okay, yeah, no, I accept, I know.
Yeah.
I don't have to ask, I know. Okay,
Yeah. I teach them how to swim.
yeah, I got it.
Yet to have one graduate my swimming class.
Dang it, anyway.
It's terrible, just terrible. I guess I gotta go back to school.
Milton Bursted had the same problem with squirrels. Anyway,
But I can't give you a straight answer or an easy answer, and none of it is gonna be, and it's not gonna work, whatever you decide you're gonna do. And then if you decide that poison might be the way to try to drop the numbers down, you can't control where they're gonna die, and people are gonna call, and they're gonna have incident reports, and the council people are gonna get phone calls. These pigeons are dying in my yard.
And we're gonna have pets eating
Oh,
poison
yeah,
pigeons.
that's true.
Yeah.
Killing
That
pets.
could be a
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's, you know, if it was a small town like Middle River, they'd just be standing out there with 12 gauges. But here we are.
yeah, here we
So I'm
are.
sorry I can't give you a real easy, firm answer. Yes, it's done, I'll take care of it. Nah, ain't gonna happen.
Can I just say I was shooting at a Chinese weather balloon? Would that work?
I did watch one last night during the Super Bowl, because I didn't want to watch the Super Bowl. I watched a guy playing with different kites, flying kites over where these were roosting, chasing them out of the roost, but all it did was move them a couple buildings down. You know.
Really?
But he was having some success with it. The one he said not to use is just a standard gray owl that just stands there. He says after a day or two, they don't even pay attention to it anymore. They're smart.
Well, I can believe that.
Yeah, they're smart.
Yeah.
So, you know, being here to give you the answer, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm available to help with a situation. I can remember when some of the council members lined up behind my house. They put smoke into the ditches and into the culverts, and they were standing there with 12 gauges shooting rats. 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Where the hell was
So that was
that
was 35 years ago.
Yeah, that was a while. Oh, man. Okay,
So, any other questions?
I'm good now.
Okay. Sorry I couldn't provide you with
No, that's
an
okay.
easy solution.
Thanks, Dana.
I don't think there is one.
Thanks for coming.
You betcha. Yeah. Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you. You also.
Don't forget the other half of your house.
It's a good thing we had a meeting tonight, because I would, and then I'd be in trouble.
All right, there you go.
Well,
What, if I go back to the guy that was here, what do you think he wants? He wants to get paid to come up here?
Probably about 3 to 5 bird.
3 to 5 a bird.
Well, that's what,
And
then
then
we,
he's turning around and selling the birds for 5 also.
yeah, I don't know about that.
then I'd rather pay Dana and we'd have the big net and net a couple hundred of them in a shot. Because that's the problem, taking a 50 or 60 at a time isn't
But the
gonna,
problem,
bird?
showing up once a year isn't gonna do anything.
no, not gonna make even
And
a
he's
dent.
grabbing what he needs to sell and moving
Do they
on.
have to be alive or dead? It doesn't matter.
For him, I bet they have to be alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just
For him, it
saying, if
makes
I get
profit.
$2 to $3 a bird, that can I?
See, and that's why I thought Dana would be an option, because if he would, you know, maybe we could catch a couple hundred underneath the nets. But like you said, if it's only gonna work once or twice, you're
Yeah,
done.
but for how long? I mean, a couple months later, those birds actually remember that there was a net there?
Well, and that's the thing, you can't continuously do it, but you could at least cut them down for a
We
little
should
while.
figure out where they roost, find something that we can electrify,
I parked out here.
and
This
that they
whole
would
roof was
fly
full
into.
on the depot here.
Boom, they're done.
And they
Sounds
line up on
too
the,
easy,
on
though. I
the,
don't know if that
building next door.
I know it does sound easy, but you get electrocuted.
I honestly think the key to it is finding the roosts and getting them while they're vulnerable inside the roost.
Mhm.
I've trapped pigeons before for dog training. That's
Yeah.
the only successful way, is
You
to
gotta
get
more-
them,
get
get
'em
inside the
where
roost
they're
and catch them in a
roosting.
vulnerable spot.
Yeah,
Otherwise, like out in the open in the parking lots and stuff.
you're never gonna get in there.
I've done the trapping, I put traps out, they don't go in traps, they're not dumb. Why would you go inside a metal cage to eat food when there's food everywhere? I mean, that's the reality.
Yeah, I mean. If you know where they roost, then you set up a trap there.
But
Yeah.
part of it is, and this is where I'm getting the feedback from. Part of it is they're roosting downtown in those spaces between on the overhangs.
Overnight,
Yeah, they're actually going in there because it's, you know,
Underneath?
into.
what
See-
spaces?
The overhangs have a metal top and a metal bottom. Well, they've let some of them have fallen out and they've never replaced them. So the birds are just going in.
Which buildings?
Right next door to
Professional?
Bergen Travel, for instance.
God, I seen they actually stand, or like cling on right onto the side of the building somehow. And there's like this much, and they just sit up there.
It wouldn't be so
There's not even a
bad,
ledge. I
but you
don't
see
get
what they
it.
leave behind on the sidewalk, and it's like, there's a couple people downtown that don't clean it up. And so instead of having that little pile, now you got a pile like this, and it's like, that's the grief that I'm
In
hearing.
New York City, there's a really profitable business they just wash sidewalks. That's all they do. Make a lot of money because of that.
Well, and see, that was my next thing, you know,
Hey,
if
you got a Premier Cleaner.
I was just gonna say, okay.
washing sidewalks, oh man, I don't know.
There's a whole episode on that on the History Channel about washing sidewalks in New York City.
Pigeon poo.
We're not quite there yet, though.
Yeah.
Not quite that big.
Well,
What's gonna happen when they take down the hospital? Gonna start in the next week or so.
They started today.
So, they're not gonna be there either. And that's where a lot of them are going.
I thought Travis walked the clinic with the guy,
Yeah.
and they didn't find anything.
Not inside, outside. They're roosting on top.
Oh, on top.
Yeah, freaking trees growing on the roof, I mean.
Yeah, they're living up there.
It's probably raccoons up there too.
Well, I know
Probably a
that
lot
he
of
got
things in there.
some, but, you know, not all of them, of course.
Probably displaces the Sasquatch, probably.
Well, I don't know, I'll have to think about it.
Well,
I
we
mean,
can't ask the
unless-
elevator to move, because that's not gonna work. They're not going anywhere.
Not
Unless we
now.
could work something out with the elevator.
That's my next thought. He gave us his
Yeah.
number. Maybe we better make a call and have a little conversation with him one day.
I think we probably should. I mean, he sounded like he was pretty willing to try to do whatever he can to keep the community happy, so.
Could we drag him in here in the next month's committee meeting and have a conversation with him
How about trapping pigeons?
about doing something about the pigeon
I
problem?
think he would appreciate that. I talked to him a little bit after that when they were here, and I think he would appreciate probably a phone call and coming in and talking before it gets out.
Well, that's the other thing. I don't think we should put this out on media yet. I'd like to have him come in and maybe he will help. Maybe he'll pay that guy $5 a head to get rid of some of these pigeons.
Or I
Which
know
is a
the,
problem.
the issue with it, the last time the guy came up, is that they wouldn't allow anyone up there without supervision at night. So maybe he would give permission to have someone go up there under supervision to work the pigeons at
It's a
night.
community concern, and he seemed like he would rather us approach him.
I'd rather approach him.
Yeah.
I'd much rather do it that way than try and, you know, because my next thing was to go to the railroad and say, hey, railroad, you got a problem here. You're spilling grain, you're causing pigeons, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I thought they were
You're
going
not
there
getting
during
anywhere
the
in the
day.
railroad.
No, I know, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Better off working with
Yeah, they're
them.
roosting it.
Look at how long it took to take the building down. How many months did it take?
Yeah.
That's what they do.
And
Yeah.
still part of it's there.
Hidden areas.
This is quiet.
Well, hopefully this summer,
Yeah.
hopefully.
I think I don't.
I don't even wanna think about it.
I was
There's no shelter really.
I had-
God, why do you gotta bring that up?
Well, I just pointing out a fact.
Let's have a conversation with him.
Yeah.
Can you call him? And okay, so for next meeting?
Yeah.
It- The grain elevators where they're roosting
I know,
at night.
well, part of it.
I don't think they're roosting over there.
I think it's a very small number if they, I've been watching for a while, cause I've been looking at wasted trapping myself, and I think a
Well, I
large,
think,
I bet you 80 to 90% of them are in that elevator at night.
I think
I had
Dave's right,
permission
you
to
know,
trap
when
in this
there's,
whole building here, there wasn't that many roosting in this whole building here. They're in that elevator up in the high parts of the old part of that building is where they're at.
They're also using Tronfit's elevator. I watched them go in there.
Yeah, probably.
And they, he's got a nice square, and they're just going in and out, and I'm sure they're roosting in there. And maybe Dan would probably give us permission to, but let's talk to the elevator first, and we'll go from there. I think so. Anybody got a problem with that?
at least we involve them into the
Yeah.
conversation.
And he knows we've got a problem. Okay?
Department updates, obviously you guys can read your statistics for the month. In regards to open positions, Mike has completed a background on our one applicant in our last hiring. And everything is good and well, and we'd like to bring an RCA for next council for hiring him. The 21st.
That's 1 out of 3.
Yep, and then kind of our plan of what we want to do is, I've talked with Holly a little, do you have something?
Nope,
Oh, okay.
I'm just writing.
Is opening our next to open until filled, and then we plan on going out to the college and speaking to them about our department and, you know, wages and all that, and encourage them to apply during this open application process. And our thought was that we would do interviews once we hopefully get enough applicants and do backgrounds on potential hires and give them a conditional offer until they can get their post license. We've checked it out with Holly, we've checked it out with Nathan to make sure that we're all okay in doing that, and it sounds like we would be. And it would just be on the condition that they would get their post license come May or June. And that they could start, you know, with us right after. We would do all the legwork, you know, beforehand. And that's kind of what our plan would be, to hopefully fill the upcoming positions and then to get approval for a 17th spot that is in the budget. But, you know, we need to get it approved for the 17th position.
And that would be the added employee that was discussed at budget.
So this new hire that's going on now is gonna go an RCA to the council.
Mhm.
And he can start on the 24th.
And I would, I guess now with the stuff we've been dealing with, I would just assume that be on new business. And
That can be.
just, I know we said staff, normal staff could be on consent, but I'm thinking maybe we should just do it on new business, and if there's a discussion, there's a discussion. It's just filling an empty spot, but at least the committee can explain this is just filling an empty void,
Mhm.
and it can be passed. But that way it's on a discussion.
You're talking for the 17th position?
Well, no, for your
No,
next
this
hire.
one.
Oh.
For your next hire, this one that you're talking about right now.
Is there issues that you
No.
foresee that it needs to
No.
be on new business, or?
No.
No,
No.
I just think, no, not with that.
Oh. Is there issues that?
It's
we
just
can-
transparency, that's all.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Mike, did you get your wage step stuff resolved?
Yeah.
Or is it getting resolved?
Yep, we got that resolved,
Okay,
so we're good there.
good.
So what do I need to do with approval for the 17th position?
A recommendation from these guys right here.
So just explain that a little bit so we refresh us on this one.
So when we talked about the budget, you know, we were kind of blowing apart our OT budget. And the plan, the idea came from, I believe it was Rachel, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but if we added a 17th officer, we could lower our overtime. And that's why our OT went down to 20,000 to make up for that spot for the 17th person. That was basically, unless I'm missing something, that was basically the reason for the
No,
17th.
well, there was the discussion too that potentially adding an additional SRO,
Mhm.
that
Oh, yeah,
part of
yeah.
the salary could be had by the school, but with the
I
schools.
remember that conversation.
The school's
Yeah.
financial ability right now is a little, to be desired, but they weren't interested, correct, in adding an SRO at this time, right?
For financial reasons. They really
Right.
would like another one, but.
Right, but
Yeah.
financially, they just can't do that,
Yeah.
right? So you would be able to get some money, around 30 grand, for them to be an SRO officer. But maybe in a
This is
different
where
year.
Legislation with this day at the Capitol, I think, is pretty important that people start pushing some stuff with public safety.
And education.
And we're gonna come up for possibly another round for task force to be on our plate again.
Boy.
Is what, he doesn't want to be under no more?
Well, no, they have,
Yeah.
they're shifting,
Yep, every 3 years.
yep, but I think it could, discussion is that the potential for the task force officer now to move into maybe possible investigations, so it's gonna be open. And our turn is the next turn for the PD on the task force. I think the contract right now goes to 2024.
Through 24?
I believe up to January 1 of 2024.
Oh, I suppose, but Cash, he's the deputy now.
Chief Deputy.
Chief deputy,
But I mean, that's,
yeah. I see where you're coming from now, yeah. And you just moved one up into your position too, right?
Yeah.
but
Which was,
he has been
Yeah.
actively working because of our low numbers, but.
I mean, it makes sense if you're gonna lower your overtime.
And that's what's in the budget, was to lower the overtime and put a new officer in.
So how many are you down right now? You're down 3, right? And you're gonna hire one, so you're gonna be 2 down?
With the 17th, 2 down.
Okay.
So we were at 16 full staff.
Okay, so.
So with the new hire, we'd be at 15, and we technically be down 1 from what we've been in prior, but if we have a 17th spot, we'd have 2 left.
Well, I think it makes sense to hire a 17th versus having officers working overtime all the time.
Well, hopefully the town ain't gonna get smaller. Hopefully we're
Yeah.
gonna grow.
No, I don't see it getting smaller.
I hope it doesn't get smaller.
I mean, I'm good with it. I mean, if that's budgeted and that's what we discussed, and if you're lowering overtime. The thing is, when you pay that premium pay, you're not getting the value of an extra person. An extra person is ultimately cheaper than paying overtime. I mean, it's just common sense, but
Well, and it's better
you have
for,
another staff.
it's better for everybody. I mean,
Rod would have said it's cheaper to pay overtime than have additional staff.
Yep.
Rod said that all the
I
time,
disagree.
but
My line of work is cheaper
it-
to have extra people and not pay the overtime.
yeah,
Because you
it's
have
wear
more.
and tear on the people too.
Yeah.
Working all the extra hours.
It's not always the dollar that's the expensive part. Sometimes you just burn people out too fast.
That's
Um,
exactly right.
So if I'm understanding right, this next guy coming in, cross my fingers, because it seems to be just about like finding a vehicle right now. That's gonna be 15, okay?
Correct.
So then we're looking for number 16, we're thinking about going out to college and saying, hey, get done with your stuff, you're gonna have a job. Okay, so that would be 16. Excuse my French, where the hell are we gonna find 17?
Well,
Both are from the college.
and we have one individual that's reached out to me. It was kind of after we had closed. He's a part-timer in another jurisdiction, looking for just a better, more career advancement. Called me. I do feel that he will apply as well. So I'm pretty optimistic that with that one as a potential, plus maybe there's two at the college. You know, and this isn't something
Yeah.
that, it's nothing new. Other agencies are doing this, and I think this is gonna be the area trend, at least until.
Oh, yeah, I'm not arguing that point. I'm just, you know, I'm just afraid that
But,
16 may be it.
and our hope is that, you know, maybe if this other individual doesn't work out, you know, maybe two from the college. If we
Yeah.
can
Okay.
give, you know, conditional offers to people prior to them even, you know, get,
I would think
I
that
would've
would
jumped all over
motivate,
as a
yeah,
college kid,
that's,
right?
yeah.
having a job waiting for you as soon as you pass the test.
Well, yeah, because
would be
we
amazing.
never knew what it was gonna be like when we got out of school,
That
so.
wasn't what we had.
It was a totally different world.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm fine with it, I am.
Yeah.
But we understand
Yeah.
the situation,
I would
okay?
I would rather have an extra person in my line of work than paying my guys overtime. Like you said, you're burning
You just
people
burn
out,
people out.
physically, it's hard.
Mentally, it's, yeah.
Well, and one of our selling points is, you know, if they're interested at all in kids, hey, eventually here we are gonna have to have another SRO, so I mean, you're gonna get moved.
It's budgeted, I'm good with it.
I just wonder how we're gonna make the rest of them understand it. I can see some,
Well, Mike and Brian were on budget.
so they should know.
Mhm.
That's the only
Rachel,
place-
I mean,
That's the only
Rachel
place we
was the other
probably
one on
feel
budget.
from, are those two corners. I think everybody else would be good with it. Okay, I'm fine with it. I'm just trying to think of an argument why you wouldn't be. What are we gonna hear that we aren't ready for? You don't wanna have a full blown up battle here over trying to make the police force whole, is what I'm trying to get to? 'Cause
Well, you'd be adding one.
I know, I
But
know.
Making
They
it whole
they
if
already
you're
have
taking
the
away overtime.
RCA, you know, for the second one too.
See, and that's my
Phil.
point. They're gonna say, oh, wait, you're full. Why do you need the extra one?
Well,
Because we're looking down the line towards all these other
if this
things.
was already a budgeted item,
I was gonna say if it's
Brian
budgeted,
and
what's
Rachel
the
were
error?
on budget, so Brian knows about it.
So was Mike.
Brian and Mike, yep, they all know
three
about
of
it.
them were on budget.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well, then they know about it.
Yeah.
I know. But I've also heard them, you know how it goes.
And that's just what we'll have to deal with.
Okay? I just want to be sure that we know that's what we're probably going to run up against. Otherwise, I'm fine with it. How about you?
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Okay?
Do you need a hug?
Not yet.
Okay, just ask.
I just don't want to see this thing blow up and, you know, get in the media, oh, they don't want to pay for their police force next. It's like, oh gosh. It's like our cars. We can't find a car to save our lives. I mean, it's not that we don't want to buy one, we can't find one. Anyway, sorry,
So
I'm
you have an
sorry.
additional RCA to open another position at the 17th.
Do they need to do something then for this going out to the college and getting this?
They've
Program
already
set up?
had an RCA to
We-
go out
There's
for
been
that.
other
We've done that,
Law
right?
Yep.
enforcement
Yep.
agencies that have been doing this, haven't they? Going out and recruiting, right? Yeah.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
so too.
And especially this day and age, that's what you kind of have to do now.
There's nothing saying that you can't, right? I mean, as
No.
long as you guys understand the legalities of it and there's nothing that we're doing illegal,
I'm good with it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Find them.
Please.
So lovely to get some people over here.
Speaking of lovely, so we had talked about last year about him being a seasonal part-time with us. And that has come now with the new sheriff's office, new sheriff, that is okay for him to do that. He's agreed that he wants to come and work for us. Our idea was that we would start him out as a seasonal employee, if we can.
Would he still be filling in with the county too?
Yep. That would also help us out. I guess our question was, I know that is there a wage limit that we have for seasonal? Or can we go
Hours.
above and beyond?
It's hours.
It's
He can
hours.
only work 1,000 hours a year.
But in regards to how much we pay him, are we limited? So it could be the baseline patrol officer pay.
So technically, normally, they're not at that same level. Permanent part-times are, where they're getting paid the same, but their benefits are prorated. Seasonal, like Steve, you go, you know, this one's at this amount, this one's at that amount, and then that's completely at his discretion, but they are not making the same as that low level. So say step one of grade one is where his employees are, say that's $20. Seasonals are making 16, 17, some are at 14. They're not at step one.
So are we able to negotiate with him to see what he would be willing to accept?
Travis has with his seasonals that have come in from year to year to year, where they have, he will even have, say, different steps of seasonals, those that know how to be on the mowers or the ones that are weed whacking. He's got different wages of those, but they're not anywhere on our step schedule. They're seasonals.
So we can go talk with Lovely, come up with a pay and then bring it back?
Sure.
Or we
Council
need to-
doesn't need approval. Seasonal, you just
You're
hire.
gonna hire him.
Okay. We
I
need to
would
get
just,
approval on wage?
No?
I would just caution that if you're gonna hire him part-time and you're gonna pay him close to step, you know, then all of a sudden, your next employee is gonna say, well, if he's getting that, I should get.
Well, the seasonal then doesn't get any benefits.
No, I know.
No vacation, sick, nothing.
Maybe you could offer him a little bit more than just as a,
No.
no, see, you always say
Are
no.
you- Are you looking at him
There's no way
filling
to slip it
in,
in.
people are sick,
I tried.
vacation, or that kind of thing, just to kind of fill in?
Mhm.
Special events.
Special events?
Try to cut down on the OT.
The reality is
Fun out of it.
he's doing the same thing on the county side. And I mean, county does take, you know, they have priority because he is their, you know, full-time employee. They're not full-time anymore, but he is their primary employee, so. It was something that we had discussed a while back.
Yeah.
It wasn't very fair, it wasn't met real well the first go-around, but the second time we talked about it, it went better, so.
Okay. Want to talk about the rest of it?
Yeah, as you guys probably know, first phase of cleanup over at 420 Davis is complete. That was an all-day event. 3 dumpster, 3
By
roll-off.
when you were there.
Yeah, I saw you. 3 roll-off dumpsters were taken out of there in one day. There's a large portion of stuff in the backyard still. We had a bobcat come out, try to unearth as much as we could, pull up as much, but the reality is there's just, I mean, there was 2 feet of snow back there, you know. So they got what they could. So prior to June 1st, we will be going back and doing one more round, same thing. Just need to give 10 days prior notice. But I think it looks a lot better than it did the.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's the first time she's parked in her driveway for quite a while.
Well, and just a little bit more info on that too, you know, just so you guys know, those cleanup bills, I mean, we end up paying them, but they do go on her utility bill for garbage.
Oh,
They then, you know, if they
she won't pay that?
won't pay it, it then goes on her property taxes as unpaid utilities. So just that actual follow through on how or what actually happens with that, so.
Well, it was nice to see that happening because it kind of shows now that, I wish it wouldn't have.
Come to that.
Taking so long.
Taking so long.
And I know it's not your guys' control, I'm
Yeah.
not blaming you by any means. I think a lot of the hang up partially was with Delray. I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat Delray. He's a great dude. I like him, but sometimes I think things get forgotten, and I know court systems are pretty slow, so I mean, there's kind of a factor of a couple things, but.
Is there anything preventing it going right back to what it was? Like, is there anything?
They left the court order, actually, I think, once we do that before June 1st cleanup, we're back in the same boat.
Yeah, it's back to ordinance.
And see, it's not that Delray's not doing it, actually, it's Nathan Hossie that deals with this. The courts don't move very fast. They really don't. It's just, it's slow.
Well, we're still dealing with those condemned houses for
I know.
the last
And
year and a half.
When there's 12 steps to that,
Uh-huh.
12 steps. I mean, okay, never mind. It's not worth going there, but it's just saying.
No,
It's not so much to blame them as it is to say,
It's just frustrating.
and you know what's, they got rights, okay? And you can't tromp on their rights because then you really get in trouble. So you had to give them the right to clean it up themselves. They didn't do that, and
How come I don't have the same rights?
because you're not messy, okay? Or however you want to put it, whatever. You remember the Zins property, you know how much trouble we had there.
Seems like some people have way more rights than I do.
Yeah,
I don't
well.
get it, but, okay.
Anyway. What else you got?
Officer Sean Hoffert recently attended DRE school.
Oh, yeah.
That was a great opportunity. It was it through the state?
So what-
State
what-
Patrol, DRE, Drug Recognition Expert. Obviously, you know, in the last 2 to 3 years, we've seen more controlled substance DUIs than I've seen in my entire career. It's blowing up. We're seeing more controlled substance related DWIs than we're probably seeing alcohol related DWIs right now. It's a big problem.
Is it more meth?
Generally, meth is our biggest problem.
Yeah.
And the DRE is like, a DRE is, he's an expert to come in and basically do the field sobriety and the testing to determine with a higher degree of accuracy on whether somebody is under the influence of controlled substance or not. And they can actually determine not only are they under the influence of alcohol, but a high likelihood of what type of controlled substance they're on. We actually had a DRE, Josh Putsky, who left to go to central Minnesota, Otter Tail County. This opportunity came up. It was with State Patrol. It was a free training to send. It's paid for by the state. So,
Is there a scientific way of testing them for specific drugs?
yeah. So it is a very difficult science. It is a scientific method. I mean, they're putting on what are
Blood pressure.
the blood pressure cuffs and going through a whole, basically kind of a physical examination that these officers are trained to perform.
Can you still find it through the general with meth?
Yeah, so with, the general police officer has a few types of tests they can do that gives you an idea, and that's generally where, that first stage of the investigation is, when the patrol officer sees either there's something on board and it's not showing us alcohol, and they have, some of those tests. There's a Romberg test, a few very rudimentary type tests, but then if they believe then that they can expand the stop from that point, then call in a DRE who will actually do the full exam.
So then they come out to the stop and,
Usually by this time, they will have enough to arrest,
oh, okay.
bring them down to the office, and then an examination will be done in a controlled environment at the office. He's been to 2 weeks, he's completed his first 2 weeks. He has one more week in March here, where it's in Philadelphia, and he actually goes down to Philadelphia, and they go down to one of the most drug-ridden areas of Philadelphia, and they get their practicals, and they just, they literally just
Baptism
run.
by fire.
I don't know if they give them free needles or dope or whatever, but they literally come in and they let DREs just
goodness.
run them, much like law enforcement. We had some students would drink, well, the others test them. kinda like that, except, you know, they're going down to one of the most drug-ridden areas in the country, and they're just running people through DREs, evaluations.
Are they giving you, oh, what is it called for, what are they giving law enforcement now for drug overdose or?
Narcan.
Narcan?
Yep.
They giving you that, guys? Or
What's that?
Have they been given, or?
We all have Narcan. We have several officers, and we have several at this point now. We've had several officers who have Narcan saves. We all carry some in our car. But yeah.
We're actually waiting, I don't know if they're on back order or what, but we've been waiting a few weeks on replacements for Narcan.
Where do you get that from?
From the FM ambulance.
Next one, Officer Meunier recently attended some investigations related training down in the cities. As we know, he was named the new investigator. I believe he attended a search warrant writing class down there. We've gotten a few classes, we found a few classes for him to help prepare him for his new role as investigator. Not 100% sure which one he went to this last week. It was a 2-day class he went down for. Anything to add to that? Nope. The optical emitters.
Nope.
Marissa can kind of help explain this a little bit.
We
but
just had this discussion.
You guys all know about it?
Yeah.
Perfect.
We're thinking we're gonna try and get hooked with the county.
Counties, I mean, maybe there's a deal we can, Rick said you're getting some estimates from other places than he got, because he got from, where was it again?
Code 4.
Code 4, yeah.
But I was thinking maybe if we even involved, maybe talk to Vedelson and just see what they're gonna do.
Yep.
Maybe if there's something that, you know, they come up here, we can do them all together.
We've already talked with
Okay.
Scott and Seth and even Tim Cook with the ambulance to
Oh,
get
yeah,
them
yeah.
all done within maybe a couple days, and with Rick, and we're all kind of on the same, we were telling each other everything and sharing quotes, and where the idea is that we're all gonna be on board in the same, with the same company
Okay.
and stuff, so.
That's what I was hoping.
Yeah, we
Hopefully
have
they can
Code
cut a
4.
little break if they do the whole dang everything.
Yeah, maybe there's a.
How many companies do you have?
Code 4, Mid-States, and then you still have one out with Guardian.
Yeah, Guardian Fleet, which is the company we went with this new vehicle.
Mhm.
They actually, as soon as I sent it to them, they did a workup, and they already have the plan to put one in the new car that we're building, so that's gonna be taken care of when we get
That's
the
good.
new car. And if that number stays consistent with all the other vehicles, looks like it'll be a couple $100 cheaper than Code 4 was per unit. So I'm still waiting to hear back from them on an estimate. But yeah, there's a few options out there that we're looking at. So.
Okay.
I think that's good.
And that would be with them driving all the way up here and running them all? Okay.
I just don't know how, it wouldn't make much sense to have to transfer all their squads down.
Oh my
gosh.
And that's what we said.
We can't send a fire truck.
No.
We can't, it just won't work. That would be just the time we would need it to.
Well, that there.
Well, I would just.
Can you imagine how expensive that would be?
Alone.
Anyway, okay.
The only other thing I have is when we did go get approval for the squad from the one that we purchased now, we had also talked about putting our name on one for 2023, because we knew that the sooner we can get our name on one and get it out there, try to secure something for 2023. Our name is on one right now. They're already starting to, ask, hey, do they still want this, because other people are looking for it, so we want to have a discussion about a brand new, they have a shipment of 2023s coming in, or they may have them already, and they want to know where we're at as far as whether we're going to want the 2023 as well.
We got, did you get the red one?
We did, and I told them, when he asked, I told them right off the bat, I said, well, they're going to want to know what's the deal with the one we've already ordered, so let's get that one. It's there, it's going to be built next, I think it's later this week or the first part of next week.
Because now, let's back this up just a little bit. So this red one was for way back to
We,
Yeah, so this
20?
was,
2020.
2020.
yeah,
Because they
gosh.
kept
Or
getting
the
canceled.
2019 budgeted, or 2019 we used out of the budget to purchase that 20. Is the way I recall.
And we were, for a while, they were going every 2 years.
We're going
And
every-
that's how it's been budgeted still, is
Yeah.
every 2 years.
But we were just, because we never received one, we were behind.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
we're down two, well, now that we got one coming, we're down one, right?
We're behind one. Right now,
We're
we're,
behind.
until we get the red one, we're behind 2.
Yes.
Right.
Once we get the red one,
One
because
down.
they had
Yeah.
purchased from Dodge, they were gonna get a Charger.
That fell through.
That didn't go through. Then they submitted to Ford, that didn't go through, that got canceled.
Both of those got canceled.
Yeah, so 2 behind. The red one is filling in though,
For one of them,
and it's a,
Yeah.
that was a used one, right?
yeah.
Lightly used.
Very, yeah, it had only had a couple hundred miles on it.
Well, very lately used, okay.
And we do have options to trade.
Yes.
And we have, Mike has worked, talked about that a little bit with Guardian.
So, we had talked about that before, but the Guardian has a trade-in program. We do have a few squad cars that might be a little more desirable. Some of the 2014s have lower miles. They have the option where, we can trade in and get value toward the next one. So, I've also been working with them on the Cushman to see if they're interested in that as well. I haven't gotten an answer from them on that. They were thinking about what they could utilize it for, maybe at their shop or whatever, but there's options to try to reduce that price a little
Put it
bit
up for
more.
auction.
Move some of the vehicles we currently have right now that are maybe still serviceable, but get something new to help try to get the fleet back up to par.
Yeah.
What's the value of that Cushman, you think?
Couple $1,000, unfortunately.
Put it on auction.
And I think if we don't go for a 2023, we're gonna be out for.
Well, and if but you're already down, you're down one already, so.
No, and we're having, even right now, I think we just put a couple thousand into our 2018 squad, timing chain length on it. The fleet we have are,
You're getting old.
squad cars don't age well.
No.
They're used and
So
the
is that-
cost of upkeep is something to consider as well.
Is that, that's a 2023 then?
What,
Is that,
the one that I'm asking for is a
Yeah.
2023.
So that's like
shipment,
that's a brand new.
23 brand new. So Guardian Fleet's a little bit different because they actually order the vehicles themselves like a dealership would. We don't get the government rate, but they ensure that they have vehicles
Yeah.
to sell to their clients because that's the problem we're running into is we
Yeah.
can't find vehicles anywhere. So it would be a brand new off the truck 2023
that'd be nice.
that
Yeah.
should be reliable, that it's gonna actually be at the shop. It might already be there. I know the county just went with the 2023. That's kind of what spurred it. I called to make sure they didn't get our 2023 the way our They assured me they didn't. So.
I just don't know how you're gonna get around the bidding process, that you'd have to have 3 proposals for vehicles.
It's hard to. propose
I know,
vehicles
it's
you
an
can't
issue,
facilitate.
but it's
You can't
still in the
facilitate.
rules. But,
Until this manufacturing issue comes back to normal, it's hard to.
That's the problem.
I think if you have a decent reading or a reason, you'd have to state it on the RCA.
Cause like I know our state bid closed how quick this year?
They said Florida was open for like 4 or 5 hours or something.
Yeah, and ours
This
was,
is crazy.
ours was open for, yeah, maybe a week,
Really.
yeah.
We could
So
probably
if you
still,
can't get in on the state bid, then what are you supposed to do?
what we're doing.
Yeah, did you do this?
Yeah.
But you've got to be able to say that that's the way it is too.
Well, anybody trying to buy a vehicle knows that.
So
And
I'm,
then these are specialized vehicles, so it's even worse.
are you good with moving ahead on
I am.
they need to know, I suppose, if they're going to keep that 23, otherwise, What else do we
Just
have?
Well, yeah, otherwise we're just gonna keep getting behind.
How do you gotta
Is that keeping us in?
part of our emergency?
I'd have to look at the budget.
It's about where
I
we're
don't
at.
think in
I'm telling you right
23
now.
we're slated for purchasing another vehicle.
No, it was supposed to be 2022, which went to the 2022, and then we're slated 2023.
Yeah, so 2022, isn't that the purchase of this vehicle,
Mhm.
the red one?
Yeah.
So you technically don't have budget until 24 to purchase vehicle.
We had gotten behind though.
Well, in the 1 year you purchased, or you got it at the end of the year, so they felt it was just like a new vehicle anyway. Is that your off-brand one?
The Durango.
Yeah,
Yep, that's where we lost a year.
yep.
So
Yeah, so technically it would be.
20, we didn't get nothing, right?
Correct.
Right.
Did you get the Durango in 21?
No, the Durango's slated as a 20 vehicle, but it was used out of the 19 budget. Because it was towards the end of the year that it was purchased.
In 19?
Yes.
Okay.
20 miles is that?
21.
Okay, so you used it in you purchased it in 19, but you got it in 20. So 20, and then you should have gotten one in 21.
Yeah,
Which we did.
that's
So
the
then
one
we
we
were-
really had run into the problems.
So in your budget, are you scheduled for 23 as a purchase?
It must be.
No.
Or no, they forego. So that's what happened with budget. So you got it at the end of the year to fix, to save some money. They moved your budget year. So there's no money set aside.
They
So,
haven't allocated for this.
so in 19, they were
2023.
supposed to buy a vehicle, didn't get it until the end of 20. Or the end of 19.
End of 19.
So it was purchased out of 19. Then in budget,
And that's the Durango.
I think they moved a year, did they not?
I think they just skipped a year or moved it ahead a year, so it was actually 2
0
years.
1 year, and
Yeah.
then, because they split it in half several years ago, because when I
We
started,
used
we
to buy
started
every
buying
year.
every year. And then to save money in budget, then they said
Every
every
2
other
years.
year.
Yeah.
But then we got behind, so we basically lost a year in between.
Well, they didn't budget for it, so there's no additional money sitting out there. I'm sorry. There's no
Well,
addition.
technically, we would have lost a year.
Yeah, so it should have been,
Yeah, but they didn't
But
do
we
it that
pulled-
way.
They pulled the money.
They pulled
They
the
pulled
budget.
money.
Yeah.
They pulled
And
it
there should have
back.
been money there, but then they pulled it.
They pulled it, so then they start doing the 2 years. So there's, again, not money until 24 to purchase another vehicle.
I was on it for 1 year and I think never going back.
Yeah,
But-
you're right. I mean, that's what happened. Remember, because
Rachel was on it.
budget committee pulled that out since we weren't getting it anyway, so they pulled it out to keep that
Yep,
Oh,
purchase
okay.
down.
yep. Now what are we gonna do?
And that's what's hard when capital gets pulled. Is trying to get it back in the budget.
Yeah, I know.
It's
You should never let it go.
horrific.
There was a reason that happened too, and I don't remember what it was, but there was something. Just because we weren't getting it, yeah.
Well, it's 20-some thousand, it's almost 1%, so,
Mhm.
at the time.
You know,
So for the money that's been allotted for the camera systems, I mean, can that be repurposed?
It can, but that's not, how much is in there? I don't have that off the top of my head.
Well, there's been, so when Dick was here, I know he had kind of a high amount.
Well, there's a column with camera system, it's got a column on previously allocated funds.
So I know that we
I
changed
just-
that too when I came on.
Yeah.
One of the other things that we had discussed initially when it was agreed to let us put our name on it was, we recently had some vehicles go to auction, so there's some
Mhm.
money out in the DWI fund as well that could help facilitate the purchase. So that paired with, I don't know what, maybe if there's some other money out there, and then trade-in value, we're not looking at, necessarily a full vehicle, the cost of a full purchase.
So in 23, you would have, I think it's, how much did we have each year? 22,
I think so.
25?
Somewhere in the halfway range, so it's gotta be
For a vehicle
around.
purchase?
Yeah,
Yeah,
was it 20
so we'd have half of it for sure.
or 18?
I thought it was 36, plus 10.
Is that-
for-
Is it 36 both
Yep, plus
years
20
and a
for-
10? Okay.
For equipment, or for.
So that's what
installation.
you have available in 23, is that amount?
So that could be easily workable then.
Why does that sound like way too much?
It does.
It's 18 or 20 for the
Per
2
year.
years.
Per year.
Per year.
Yeah,
to
per
go
year.
towards the vehicle.
Right.
So if
So
you got
split
20 and 20, you
36
got
in half.
40. then you got-
Yeah, I was like,
Yes. So you split the 36 in half.
right. So you only have, yeah,
18.
half
So
of
you're looking at
it this
18,
year.
18 and 10.
Yeah.
So you got 18 each year. To
But I
get to
think
your
it's
36,
10
you
to
got
equip
10
it,
for
isn't
your
it?
equipment.
Correct. Which,
Yeah.
That's what we're budgeted for.
Yeah,
Okay.
so they have 28 to purchase and equip it, budgeted each year.
Be 10 short then at least.
but I think we can make that up.
I was gonna say, if you had a trade-in and you said
So
there
you're
was some
throwing
other
in a
funds you
10
could maybe
every year?
repurpose.
For the
Yeah.
equipment?
I think it's 10. Isn't it
No,
10
no.
each year?
was
Or is
before
it 10 for 1 year?
It's 10 for 1 year.
10
I was gonna say, that's gotta be 1 year.
Well, I don't think we,
So what I've been seeing for is, it's generally around 11 to 14,000 to equip. That's
Yeah.
not all brand new equipment, some of that is.
I don't have that budget
repurposed Equipment we have.
in front of me.
How soon you need to know?
I don't know if I don't know if I need an answer tomorrow, but the sooner the better. I think
Maybe-
I think they'll hold on to it for a while, but,
Till next committee or not?
yeah, I think we'd be fine with that.
Maybe we can bring back some more solid numbers.
Yeah,
that they would
let's-
give
let's-
us for.
Well, we can maybe explore.
So we can
some
always
trade
email,
options as
you
well.
What's the full cost of it? Like what's,
About 42 to 43.
and that's on the road, like you're.
That's,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
that's a turnkey ready
Okay.
on the road.
And then how much did you say we had? 20,
Not sure.
Budgeted, just off the top of my head, 18 for purchase.
18. Because we don't put the other 10 in there until.
No, it's a second line item to equip it.
Oh, so then you probably got half of that too then.
Well, that's what I can't, that's what I
wanna
just,
say
I
it's
can't
10
picture
total
it.
for that
It's
equipment.
10 something, but do we
believe-
do 5
I
each
believe-
year?
We,
I don't know. I could run
we were
upstairs
budgeted
and get it,
$10,000
but,
for equipping it. Because I remember when my first looking at it, I was like, well, how are we gonna equip it for 10? Because it's, generally 14,000.
or is there 7 each year? Or is it 7 budget each, 7,
I thought it was, I think we have 10 total for the equipment.
10?
Is what we
Yeah,
were budgeted.
that's what I'm thinking, it was 10.
I think
but-
that number is probably.
When was the last time that was updated?
I think if we're
That
good
needs
to
to be
wait till
updated.
next
Yeah.
It's just
committee,
not-
let's get all that information, and make sure what we have.
Yep.
Before we make any,
Let's make sure we got it.
if you think if we can wait till next committee.
Well, and I think that, especially if that gives me the opportunity to explore some trading options with them, they'll start working with us on that. That'll obviously get them to hold on to it longer too.
Yeah.
So, well, we can explore some trading options, get a few more, maybe a dollar figure, a little more harder numbers.
That'll give you some
Make more
time
sense.
then
Yeah.
for next committee.
Yeah.
Close your ears for a second, will you? The monkey in the room is, and she's right, we've got that in there that they've gotta be bid. If they're over X, they gotta be bid. So we've gotta figure out how we're gonna word this RCA when we do this, so that it says, this is the only option we had. Okay? We only had this option to get this vehicle. Otherwise, there were no other options.
Well, there isn't.
there isn't any
Well,
other
there isn't.
options.
I mean.
But it just
even
needs
as-
to be
as a-
stated
It
in the
needs to be
RCA,
said, though.
so
Yeah, but-
You know what I mean?
the auditors don't come
I
at,
know,
like,
but
That's
the
fine.
rest of the world doesn't know that, you know what I mean?
You can go out to West Side and get the answer. You can go to Steve out at Ford and say, and just
But-
get it written down that they can't do
It
nothing.
ain't Steve
for it.
anymore out at Thief River Ford.
No, he's gone.
He's gone.
The
Maybe he
public
bought
doesn't
it.
get that,
Donlinger?
As far as I know.
Oh,
but the public doesn't get it is what I'm saying. So we need to put it in the RCA so that it says, we're doing this because this is the only place we can find a vehicle. Boom, okay? Just so we don't have to listen to, why did you buy it out of town?
well, get written up in the audit when you don't have all the documents.
Yeah, I know.
but you can easily just go to these places and they're gonna tell you, we can't do nothing, so.
I know.
I mean,
I'm just saying, we put in the RCA, that the RCA should read, we had to do this because
Yep.
there's no other option. And then the auditors can be happy too.
Yep.
Okay, I'm good.
I'm good.
You guys okay with that? Okay.
we're not ready for RCA till maybe after the next committee, correct?
Yeah. We'll have to get some firm prices and see how much money we got.
Well, and even if you have it, you know, the March 7th meeting, it can be RCA for there. If the numbers come in and it works, they can have a RCA for March 7th.
Because we could send out an email to the committee.
Oh, we could have, we can do it via email.
Send it to me and I can send it to
The rest of us could know because she could send it out to us. We've already decided if we could afford it, we gotta do it. So can't we just have her email if the numbers
Yeah.
come out? We don't have to go back to, necessarily back into committee. If the numbers don't work out, we're probably gonna have to go back to committee.
Yeah, definitely.
But if they work out,
If they work out, then we could put it on.
we could just tell them, do it, put the RCA out and we'll be done.
Yeah, yeah,
Make sense?
yeah.
You look confused. I don't know. That's why I'm asking you, I don't know. The four of us would know, because she could put it out in an email. But we'd have to know that the numbers work out first. Okay, all right. So you can do that then, if you, so you guys understand? She needs to know, and she'll tell us, and then we can individually tell her how we feel
Yeah,
about it.
don't
How about
reply
that?
all.
Okay? Don't push all, just respond to her, and we'll take it from there. Okay, I think I'm good.
I don't know if I can respond, I don't know, you didn't get my email, so.
Oh.
No, none of them. You
I got
didn't
it.
either. Oh, you did finally?
Yeah, I finally got it.
When?
It was, well, I finally got it, but it came through later, but it was.
Later in the day?
Yeah, but it said 0658.
Yeah, because I sent it at, it shows right here, and you go into the sent messages that
But I
it's
didn't,
sent.
it didn't get on my thing until later. Onto
If
my
I go to sent
mail.
messages, it shows at 6:54 AM to all three of you, and it says sent.
Yeah, mine finally came through at like, well, it said 6:58, but I mean, it didn't come through until like
I don't
9
know if it was
o'clock.
just because it was sent from my phone and not the iPad that it took longer, or what.
I don't know.
So I literally jump in emails from 6:36 a.m. to 7:37 a.m.
Yeah, I got mine right.
I don't know.
God damn it, man.
Oh, I tell ya. There's days.
I can't, I don't understand computers.
Well, yes, Steve, yes, we can do that.
Well, if you get email, if you don't, I don't know. We'll have to try.
I get emails at frickin' 12 o'clock at night, and I don't know why I get them that late.
See ya.
I
Right here.
understand people.
So you did get it.
Yeah, it's right here. But I mean, I didn't get this, like I said, it was,
Yeah.
finally came through about 9 o'clock this morning, but
Weird.
9, 10 o'clock.
What else we gotta do?
Well, there's stuff in.
Oh, I know, but what are they gotta do? Are they,
That's all I have.
we're good? That means we're into these things.
Well, thank you.
Megan, I reached out, they haven't called me back.
Okay.
I'm trying to get ahold of them, but they haven't called back yet, so
Okay.
I'll let you know as soon as I know.
Yeah, that's fine.
Do you guys have some?
Not for you.
We have other stuff.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Don't forget about Valentine's Day, we're making this a point tonight.
I forgot about it until I brought it up again.
So the first item is the fair's request for 1 to 4 days temporary on-sale liquor license from July 12th to the 16th. Cost of the license is $35.
Per day.
Same thing as every year, right?
Yes.
Nothing's changed.
No.
Good with that one.
Good.
RCA to council. Good with consent on that one, or you want discussion on it?
That can be consent,
That
'cause
should be
it's a,
Okay, then you have back page items.
A what?
On the back page.
Back page.
Other
On the agenda.
continues.
I got all my shit screwed up
So the second RCA is also for the fair. They completed the parade application for July 12th from 7 to 9.
Oh,
And they did pay the fee of 20.
okay. Not much we can say about that then, is there?
We had to struggle last year with them paying the fee, and
Oh, that's right,
And-
Steve, remember?
they
Oh,
had the
yeah,
check
Because
available,
this
and
hadn't been done for how many years, and once Renee was going through all the ordinances and found this, remember?
yes.
So.
So
Forgot about that
they
one.
paid and had the
Oh.
check ready.
That was a fight.
Okay.
Another item that Renee handed to me as I was coming down the stairs. So, oh, she's got. I didn't think it was single page, but it's single page. This is an ordinance change due to, Anton and, oh gosh, what's his name?
I can't remember, but yeah.
Having that request to do 128 ounce in the can sales. So this is the ordinance change to allow that as well, because before our ordinance only included the
64.
growlers.
Oh, okay, yep.
Now this will include the 128 ounces to be sold per customer as well.
Okay.
And Del Rey would prefer, since the the actual application has already been done, to do a first reading only on this ordinance with first reading and approval.
So does this also, is this like state enforced?
Well, it's an application that goes to the state.
So, but I mean, are we following like,
Yeah, so it's got Minnesota state chapters.
We just didn't have
listed.
this into our ordinance.
ordinance.
Yeah.
Right, so it's just including the wording to allow them to not to exceed 180 ounces per customer.
So they're answering to the state anyway,
Yes,
because they're following the Minnesota rules,
correct.
provision of Minnesota rules. part
We
of
just have to
7.
have it in our ordinance also.
So you can do a reading and then a second reading?
No, Del Rey would prefer we just did the first reading and approval.
We don't need a second reading.
Yeah.
'cause
It's not required.
Should have probably already been in there anyway.
Well, this is, we're kind of breaking new ground with,
Okay.
so
Alright.
we did change the ordinance when they wanted the growlers.
Yep.
They didn't ever mention wanting to sell 128 ounces either.
But this
So,
is just an amendment.
correct.
Yeah, basically just, yeah.
Yeah, so it says City Code Section 111.034 is hereby amended as follows.
Okay. As long as he says we only need one, I guess.
Yep. So he's, even with the changing of the code for the time of this meeting, or not this meeting, city council, that also can be done with one reading.
Okay.
Then the subcommittee that was set to go through city code was originally Jason and Rachel. So you guys need to discuss on who's going to join Jason, or if two others are going to go through city code. Her proposal is to have the meeting an hour before public safety, but you guys can certainly change it.
Well,
I'm on Public Works already.
Oh, well.
I guess I was in law enforcement. I guess city code is,
Want to go
The
through
same.
city code, and
I can,
you want to continue?
You guys want to be on it or not?
No, I'm on Public Works. I already got my.
Public
my-
Works, city code.
Yeah, I got my city code with Public Works. I'm,
Who's on admin? I know it was,
Well, it'll be asked tomorrow.
I know, but who was on it? I can't remember. Was I on admin one too or not?
You shouldn't have been. I don't think we doubled, we,
no, see, because you were on because you're the chair.
is that tomorrow though?
You were on Public Safety because you're the
Yeah.
chair. That's how I got on Public Works.
No, I think they just put me on it because
No, it was because you're the chair.
Yeah.
And Mike,
but-
Mike is the chair of utilities and he's part of it as well.
Yep.
Okay, well, whatever.
Okay,
You're
so
good, you
Ja-
guys, whatever, whoever wants to be on it,
Jason and Anthony, or,
or if you wanna be on it, I don't care.
I don't care either.
It's up to you.
Well, it's on the same day that falls on Matt's, so I can't.
On what?
Matt and me are
Matt's
the
at
only
5.
salesmen.
or no, but it would be
Before.
tonight,
It would be today.
Oh, it would be today.
an hour
Before.
before
Yeah,
public
before the
safety.
public-
Oh,
He's
before public
tomorrow.
safety, okay, I
Yeah.
was thinking public works, never mind.
Cause he'd be tomorrow.
He'd be tomorrow, yeah, in public, oh, never mind, I'm screwed, never mind. Proceed.
He's good. He's good.
So Anthony's a go.
It's tomorrow.
I am good. I'm good.
Anthony, and you?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
whatever,
Okay.
I guess.
And you guys are good with an hour before public safety?
And that's
So-
only when she has something to change anyway, right?
Right, well, she's got discussion pieces, these chapters. Here's part of the
'Cause I think
problem.
even last year, I think Rachel and I probably only discussed a few things throughout the year. I mean, it wasn't every single time.
No, but, so she's went through it and she's compared the file that says city code for us on the computer doesn't match what's on the website. There's sections that are different, it's a problem. There's like utilities, it still has the word division. Well, there hasn't been a division in utilities in I don't know how long. There's pieces in, say, all the points, right? You have like 13.7. Say 13.7 is listed, but there isn't a 13.7 in the document. So I don't have then a write-up, and that, it's a problem. There's, in utilities, there's no write-up for water. Where'd it go?
I'm on utilities.
It's a problem, it's an issue. So some of those are going to be needing more work. So,
It's gotta get done, so.
Yep.
yep. Okay. Anthony and Jason in 1 hour before public safety. Good deal.
What else you got?
That's
Is that a
it.
separate meeting then?
Yes. You can count that one as a
There you
separate
go.
meeting.
That's it. The 3 meetings in one day.
Oh, man. Are we just, I suppose we're discussing that tomorrow too.
Yes.
Are we, is that it?
I don't have anything else.
I've got no others. I'm good. I'm good.
I got nothing.
Adjourn?
For tomorrow, I'm gonna have to leave a little early. 'Cause
For the mech? Or which one?
For the.
Oh, for admin?
Yes,
You're on admin too?
yeah. I missed the last
Can't
one
even
because I had it on
remember the other one. What
my
is it?
schedule wrong, but we have one of our last varsity games.
Why are you
in
looking at
EGF,
me
so
like
I
that,
gotta-
Steve?
I'm just,
So you'll
So,
I'm just.
be in
probably-
attendance for part of it?
Yeah,
People don't
okay.
understand
I'll
how
be
much
there.
this
I'll see
work
what
this
time I'm
is.
leaving.
They just don't
but
have.
I'll let you know where when I get here.
And then
Work
did you
this
get the
really
email
is.
for mech on
I-
Wednesday?
It's like,
I don't have
it's
my
like,
iPad.
why can't
Oh.
we
Because
drive
it was
off
in
of
my
Third
car.
Street?
Sure.
Because
Did you
it's
hear about
not
that? I'm sure you
safe.
did.
Yes.
Well, it's
Yeah.
not a
Yes,
good
I
enough
did.
answer.
So there's a mech meeting on Wednesday
Okay,
morning?
and then,
What
now,
time?
and what really pisses
7:30
me
in the
off.
morning?
Okay.
Listen, what pisses me off is, and I'm sorry for this.
Are you
but
familiar
the
with the
sheriff
college
is
at
the
all?
one that asked us
There's a meeting
to
at the
do that.
college.
Let's don't
Okay.
block it, it's called natural selection.
But that's good, because I live right there.
Called eliminating the
So,
student rate.
it's,
But, and then he, see, it was before,
like
do you know where the
It was
police
before Ray.
store is?
so
Angie,
Ray
we're off,
doesn't
right?
wanna fall on a knife.